Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ayman Mohyeldin here at MSNBC World Headquarters in New York. We've got some breaking news that we want to share with you at this hour. We are learning this afternoon that former President Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States, has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Biden, who is 82 years old, has what his office...
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel. City boy! City boy! All right, so this came out yesterday as breaking news. It was Sunday. I didn't cover it because I am chilling on, my Sabbath, relaxing. But I did see it, and none of this surprises me. But I'm here to highlight a bunch of different things. Okay, the main thing is the cover-up by mainstream media and the powers that be, that Joe Biden was all the way cognitively there and that he was in great health when he ran for president in 2020 and as he was president. This cancer diagnosis, in my opinion, is proof that he wasn't in health and he had cancer most likely before, and I'll break it down. I'll break it down why I believe he had this cancer before he became the president. But he definitely had it while he was president. So, all this hoopla, there's just a lot to unpack here. We're going to check this out from MSNBC, just because it's always good to see other sides of the docket. You guys know, it's funny because when I watch it from Fox, everyone complains, oh, you get all your information from Fox News. Okay, we're watching it on MSNBC today. I don't want to see any tears in the comments, and let's break this down. But, yeah, let's just get right into it. If you want to support me on Black Pegasus, you can like, share, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Link in the description to my other channels. I have a somewhat popular music reaction channel where I do stay away from politics and just focus on the music, but over here we get wild. So let's get it, man.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ayman Mohyeldin here at MSNBC World Headquarters in New York. We've got some breaking news that we want to share with you at this hour. We are learning this afternoon that former President Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States, has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Biden, who is 82 years old, has what his office is calling a more aggressive form of the disease. The former president is currently reviewing multiple treatment options while he is resting in Wilmington, Delaware with his family. Joining us now is Dr. Vin Gupta, MSNBC medical contributor. Dr. Gupta, it's good to have you with us. First of all, let me get your reaction to this news that we're...
Now, before we get into this doctor, I'm pretty sure that's the Gupta. He looks different here, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. I don't know. Maybe it's his son. But there was a Dr. Gupta from CNN or MS. I think he's from CNN. So maybe this is a different one. Maybe there's just people with the last name Gupta. Because he lied about ivermectin literally on the Joe Rogan podcast. So that kind of tells you where the mainstream media is when it comes to press releases and stuff. But let's hear what this doctor has to say. And then you can listen to the doctor right in front of you, Black Pegasus. I'm playing. I'm not a doctor. This ain't medical advice, but I know a little something about a little something, and we're going to get into it.
We're learning right now from the former president about this prostate cancer diagnosis.
Well, I mean, based on the information that we have, it's a serious diagnosis. And for those of our viewers that have a loved one or have experienced this themselves, know well, prostate cancer can exist in a pretty indolent form for many, many people, and they can live with it for many years, and it doesn't cause a lot of problems. But once you start to hear things like bone metastases, which is the case for the former president, and when you start to hear Gleason scores, which is a way in which we characterize the severity of prostate cancer, and that number being, in this case, 9 or 10, those are the more severe manifestations of prostate cancer. Once you start to hear these terms being thrown around, and we don't have a lot of information available to us, that connotes seriousness. Even if there is treatment options available here, like hormone treatment options, that this is hormone receptive, it doesn't. Given that he's 82, given that there's been a lot, obviously, over the last few years, talking about his performance status and just how he overall is functioning, he's not going to be the greatest candidate for aggressive chemotherapy to deal with what is an aggressive form, it seems, by all indications, an aggressive form of prostate cancer. So this is a worrisome diagnosis. It's very serious. And the question here is, what type of chemotherapy can he tolerate at 82, and what does that mean for his life expectancy?
Okay, let's keep it real. First and foremost, I don't wish bad on no one. Cancer is horrible. Cancer is what took my mother out. Rest in her soul. She fought many different. It started with breast cancer, went to both breasts, then it went to her lungs, then it went to her brain, and eventually it went to. And she beat all of those. Then it went to her liver, and that was what was terminal. Took her out. In that process, I ended up learning a lot. As I said, I dealt with cancer in my life with Mom Dukes. You know what I'm saying? And I don't wish that upon anyone. You know what I mean? I would highlight again, it's unique to see that Biden represented the admin. After seeing this, you start to wonder, Manchurian candidate, everyone said he was a puppet, etc. Now more things are coming to light. So even though his admin was the one that mandated the thing that took out a lot of people or, hurt a lot of people's immune systems, this is still like a painful thing to go through, like physically as a human being. Like cancer is not easy to deal with. But then again, I'm not here to discuss that. All that in the backdrop, this is what's real. This was a huge cover up. I went and looked this up in depth. It takes 8 to 10 years for this type of cancer to metastasize into the bone. 8 to 10 years. Even the most aggressive types of cancer like this take years to metastasize to the bone. So this MFer, for it to not be there while he was running in 2020 or while he was actual president is damn near impossible unless it's some new type of cancer. And I was looking up the literature back and forth. I talked to ChatGPT back and forth. I've been watching doctors talk about it on the news cycle back and forth. And what I've come to grips with or to learn here is that this was a massive cover-up. And the reason I'm covering this specifically is because I was one of the ones in 2020, along with Rogan and everyone who noticed the cognitive decline. There were literally he is not all the way there. And there's still people to this day who will argue, yes, he was fully healthy. Then we got to the end of, his term, the 2024. And before the debate, everyone's like, yo, he can barely put a sentence together. But people would make you seem like you're crazy, you're this, you're that. And it is so obvious he was sick. Now, do I know if it was the cancer or what it was exactly? No, but what we do know is that he was physically unwell, period. And the fact is, this is the fact, that presidents have the most advanced tools to detect things early, to see their health. They have regular annual certain type of checkups, physicals, all these things. When a president is allegedly soiling himself, falling asleep during meetings, falling off of bikes, walking downstairs, they are going to go ahead and check him out medically on the regular basis. They knew what was going on. This was a cover-up. This was absolutely 100% a cover-up to have some, what's effed up? It's kind of effed up. You have an old dude fighting cancer, allegedly running the country. It's really effed up. But I think he was absolutely complicit. I think he wanted to be there. Remember when he said he was good and he was like, he almost didn't want Kamala to run? Remember that? I think that was authentically him. Or maybe they had him putting on a show. Now that I think about it, you never know. This was one of the biggest cover-ups. And people would be like, oh, they've been doing this forever. Not at this level. You have never, and people are going to get in these comments, well, Trump can't speak. Trump is sick, blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about Joe Biden, what we just saw. And again, I've seen Trump do 2-hour interviews, 2-hour podcasts, ramble, and actually be coherent talking at rallies for 2 hours plus. There's a difference. And at the same time, Trump is almost 80. We all have cognitive decline as we get older. I sometimes scramble my words in these places, and I'm in great health. So people who start arguing about Trump when I'm just talking about Biden are psychopaths, straight up. Like, the world does not end or begin with Donald Trump, you guys, period. So let's just talk about the hoodwinked, the bamboozled, the gotcha from the government, the mass media, etc., and maybe use this to open our eyes for these current situations. Because I just saw Bongino and Patel literally say that Epstein did not himself. That's crazy to me, bro. There ain't no Epstein files. The JF files are bullshit. And now you got two of the dudes where you're like, oh, they're going to really put in work. Patel and Bongino talking about Epstein did not himself. Okay. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I really don't. But that seems wild to me. So let's utilize this bullshit that we just saw in real time with Joe Biden to call out other bullshit as it comes down the pipes. Now, I personally like some of the direction America's going in right now. I like some of the stuff Trump does, straight up. Like I told y'all that before. I could go down the list. So I'm not hating, but there are still some things where you're like, bro, you have to question it. You have to. Anyways, this Joe Biden is a cover-up. I believe he had cancer. Oh, let me tell you a story about a few people I know personally, and then people who came out and testified on a Facebook. So I have a buddy whose father had prostate cancer that metastasized to the bone eventually, but the treatment before it metastasized, it started to cause early onset dementia, because that shit ain't no joke. And, you know, I dealt with that in my personal life with my mother when she had brain cancer. They had to do radiation on her brain, and she started getting loopy. Her equilibrium was off. I remember she fell, got a black eye just because she couldn't think properly. She couldn't pull words right away. It wasn't as bad as Joe Biden, like when he was doing the debate, but it was bad. And noticing that is like, I believe that Joe Biden had cancer before he ran in 2020, and they knew. I believe it wasn't as aggressive or bad as right now, but I believe they knew. And maybe because we now have foresight to see how bad Kamala Harris lost, they knew they could not run a candidate that wasn't associated with Obama, or they wouldn't beat Trump, or they couldn't make it look like they beat Trump, because Obama kind of has that, that allure, right? I don't know. There's a lot to digest here. I'm just going off the cuff, but the real reason I'm doing this video is because I believe Joe Biden had cancer before 2020, before he ran, and throughout the presidency, it got worse. Because this shit, like, think about it, 4 years. It takes 8 to 10 years for this type of cancer to metastasize to the bone. Even in aggressive cancers, it takes years. So even if we cut that in half, that's 5 to 4 years. So, and we saw the cognitive decline in the beginning of his term when he was running. People were like, oh, you're really going to run Biden? And they made us look like fools for calling that out. And so for the Democrats or the liberals who believe in their side, I'm cool with that. I'm an American. I think we all have different ideologies, different beliefs. I'm actually cool with that. This is what I would challenge you to do. You should be upset with the Democratic Party because they keep running these fake candidates. And maybe that's happening on the right side too, but with the Democrats, it's very obvious because a big part of the Democratic Party wanted Bernie Sanders, okay? There was a percentage of the Democratic Party that wanted RFK Jr., but they just keep putting these people in front of them, right? Hillary in front of Bernie and Biden in front of, whoever could have. I don't really think they had a good choice back then. That's why they kind of ran him. But anyways, I'm not a politician. I'm not an expert at this shit, but I do know a cover up when I see one. So it's time to call it out. This MFer had cancer for a while, and he was not fit to be our president. And the fact that we had literally a ghost or a shell of a human being as our president for so long, and you saw where our country went during that time, is definitely an eye-opener for a lot of people. And I'm just here to help open some more eyes and also call out the BS we see in present day. Anyways, you guys, let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe, holla back.
City boy, city boy.